Talking about pitches, same pitch, different place. And that's something we have to tackle on guitar because it's a fact that we can play the same pitch in more than one place. Unlike piano, for instance, where take middle C, for instance, you can only play that in one place on piano. That pitch, not just the note, the name of it and all of that, but that particular pitch can only be played in one place on that instrument. And with guitar, we have vertical and linear. Which way am I going? I don't know. But so that's it creates a problem in that we can play a pitch in different places. We've been discussing A and the fact that that note or that pitch, 440 megahertz, is the same if I fret it on the 5th fret on a different string. And thus we have found two different places to play the same pitch. It's not a different octave, it's literally 440 megahertz, I think. Might have to check my math, Google it. What is A? Of course it depends on the octave, hardy har. But for the sake of this conversation, we're trying to figure out where on the fretboard can we find the note A, not just a pitch, particular, but just that note. And then how many octaves are there of it? So again, unlike piano, there's only one place, to hit that particular octave. Well, not on guitar. There's several places. And so to try help and tackle that, let's look at it this way: is call it the down-up pitch pivot. I like that. Down-up pitch pivot, which is going to mean that if I move down one string and up the fretboard, I can find the same pitch. So, when we play an open A, we're on the 5th string. If I move down a string, which would be the E string, the only one left, and up the fretboard, I get to the same pitch. So, if we played A sharp, if I move down to the 6th string and up the fretboard, we find the same pitch, not a different octave, same pitch. And so that's going to help determine how many of the same pitches of A are on the fretboard. So the first answer, we can go, it's low to high or high to low, however, eventually it's both ways. But the lowest note on guitar for A, it's 440 megahertz. It's the second ledger line down from the staff, the treble staff. And so you draw 2 lines from your staff, mark a note there, and that is whichever of those 2 locations you want to think of, or you should think of both. But when you're playing, eventually you'll be reading, and depending on where you're at, what's coming next, you may choose to play an open A as compared to fretting something, or you may not. You won't know until that moment. So thus, you kind of have to know this. You can find the same pitch of a single note in more than one place on the fretboard. But how many times can you do that? Well, it depends on the note, basically, or the pitch. And what might best demonstrate that is if I could take E even, that would work too. That pitch of E, an open E string. If I go down a string, which would be the B string, and I move up the fretboard, I can find that same pitch. That's why we tune our guitar like that. We're tuning to the same pitch. And so there are 2 places that I can find that pitch. And then the question being is, can I find that pitch in more places? Because by chance, when we did A, we were near the lowest end of the guitar, and thus we ran out of room. If we start high, we're going to have more options. And so there's the first option of hitting that pitch, the open first string, somewhere else, is on the B string, down one string of the fretboard. But since I have strings left, that means I could do this again, right? And so where would I find E? I could do that by just knowing where the note is on the fretboard. But there's also a difference when we go from G to B, but let's not even get there yet. So there is the same pitch as the first pitch. So there's 3 places I can play the same pitch of E. And then the question begs, well, is there more places? Well, I have more strings, and I haven't run out of fretboard yet, so there's a chance that there's more places. And I could do that by knowing where E is on the D string, or I could know that, hey, there's a 12th fret, there's D, and there's E. Same pitch as an open string. Whoops. If you play them together, you won't know that you're playing 2 at the same time. I mean, you will, because you'll hear that lower timbre, but same pitch, not a different octave, same pitch. So whether I play it open first string, the second string on the B string, 5th fret, the G string up here on the 9th, the D string up here on the 14th, and guess what? There's going to be one more place, right? On the A string, what fret is that? 17th fret. And so whether I play E here, or here, or here, or here, or here, those are all the same pitch. And so part of the journey here on learning the fretboard is learning where all the notes are, but in some ways I think it adds more to the thought process. A lot of learning the fretboard is realizing that you can hit the same pitch, same note in a different place on the fretboard. And so it's kind of mystifying at first, like, how does this make sense? But it is what it is, right? And so for A, if we started as on the first string, the first place we come to it is here, as you know. And so a rule, numbers wise, to find the same pitch that we can use to this down up pitch pivot theory, is we end up moving up 6 spaces if the G and B string are not encountered. There's that wonderful G and B string deal. And so on A, we have A here. If I move up 6, and then go down 1 string and move up 6, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same pitch, right? As we just discussed, we have more strings down, and so where is A? Same pitch. And then I have more strings to go down, and if I go up a total of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have the same pitch. We can already see we're going to run out of being able to move up. We can go down again still on A, but we can't move up anymore, at least 6 positions, right? And so we now know that for that pitch, well, now I'm going to have to think about it. Is the same pitch, different locations of A. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 places of playing that pitch. And so tinker around with just A. Well, tinker around with A and G and E. Yeah, A, G, and E for right now. And just find, since we play mostly treble, just find the highest pitch, well, not the highest pitch, from the first string places on the fretboard where we can play that same pitch of E. Whoops. So we have E, we have E, we have E, we have E. I could go down again, but don't have room to go 6. So now I know that is as many places as I can play that pitch of E. We'll get into the staff here in a bit, but let's start working on that. And so work on the math, the fretboard geometry to also, think of your minor pentatonic. I'm in A, flat 7 is here. That means a whole step up is the root again, right? And so if you're not encountering the G to B string, you always move down just one string. That's a given, no matter what, to find the same pitch, different place. And then the rule of 6, if you don't encounter the G string. So I'm in A, I go down one string, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on the same pitch. If you go from G to B, you have to add one more because the intervals are shorter and from G to B as all the others are stacked and forth. So going up to 7. So I go down one string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go less than. My bad. I'm not going to re-record this. There you go. You have it. I messed up. From G to B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rather than 6, if you're on not those strings, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From G to B, finding A again. I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only move up 5 instead of moving up 6. But now that I'm not going to go from G to B, I'll go down 1 and up 6, and I bet it works this time. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So use the 6-5 roll as well. Go down 1 always, up 6 if you're not encountering going from G to B. Up 6 to find the same pitch. If you're going from G to B, say E, go down 1 again, but up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now that I'm past G to B, I go down 1 and up 6 to find that same pitch as the rest of those E's. So sorry to confuse on the last part, but think about this. Let me know if it makes sense. You're finding the same pitch in a different place on the fretboard by going down one string always if there's strings left and going up 6, unless you're going from G to B. You still go down 1, but you only go up 5, as we just figured that out. So try this out on for size just for A and let me know if that makes sense. Of course, then we have to correlate other things using that same methodology.